Edinburgh. Your city was probably designed by planners who hated walking. Too harsh? Maybe. But stop for a second and look around. 8 lanes of traffic, parking lots the size of a small country, and sidewalks that just end. Europe chose a different path. While some kept widening their freeways, these cities chose to shrink them. That choice opened the door to some insanely well-designed cities. In 2026, Edinburgh was voted the most walkable city in Europe, and second in the entire world, just behind Seoul, as voted by 24,000 locals. And here's the wild part. Edinburgh is built on hills, steep ones. But everything's connected, and everything's close. The medieval old town and the elegant Georgian new town flow right into each other. The castle, the museums, the galleries, all within a 15-minute walk. No car, no transfer. Walking from a busy shopping street up to an extinct volcano takes you just half an hour. It's not just the layout. Locals gave the buses, the restaurants, the parks, basically everything, sky-high marks. 91% of residents said the city actually makes them happy. While most downtowns can't even connect 2 coffee shops without jamming a freeway between them, Edinburgh connected 8 centuries of history with a single footpath. Milan. A lot of you know it for fashion and the tastiest espresso, but the city planning? Insanely well designed. In 2024, Milan opened its fully driverless M4 metro line. It runs from Linate Airport to the other end of the city in about 30 minutes. It connects to the rest of the city's network at 6 interchange stations. Then there's Area C, a paid entry zone right in the heart of the historic center, watched by 43 camera gates and running every weekday. Drive in, you pay. Simple as that. But the real story is the Piazze Aperte program. Milan took dangerous, car-choked intersections and flipped them around. By the end of 2025, 61 of them had become public squares. Paint, planters, benches, ping-pong tables. Cheap, but instant results. You know that intersection near your house where nobody ever walks? Milan turned dozens of those into places people actually want to spend time. It even redesigned a major boulevard, adding protected bike lanes and trees right down the middle. Berlin. And even though it's a massive city, it managed to wean itself off the car. By 2023, only 22% of trips were made by car. And walking? That hit a full 34%. Think about that. More Berliners walk than drive. The cycling network reaches about 2,376 kilometers. Embedded in that network is a priority system of roughly 871 kilometers of main routes. And the crown jewel, Tempelhofer Feld. It used to be a real airport. Berlin shut it down and handed the entire 386-hectare field back to the public. Now people cycle down the old runways, fly kites where planes used to land, and grow vegetables. No condos, no mall. Imagine your city closing an airport and saying, "Here, it's all yours now." That's exactly what Berlin did. Helsinki. Helsinki is playing the long game with technology. In 2016, it launched an app called Whim, bundling transit, bikes, scooters, taxis, even rental cars into a single subscription with one tap. No app chaos. Then there's a smart district called Kalasatama, built on old industrial land. Its planning goal was almost a joke. Design it so well that residents gain 1 extra hour a day. By late 2024, more than 10,000 people already lived there. As of 2024, more than 500 electric buses were humming quietly around the region. Today, roughly 1 in 9 trips is made by bike, and the city wants to double that by 2030. There's also a branded network called Vienna, made up of 22 cycle highways. You've definitely sat in traffic checking 3 different apps just to get across town. Helsinki asked, what if it was all one button? Vienna. This city might just be the boldest of them all. While most cities let landlords run the game, Vienna keeps housing in its own hands. The city directly owns around 220,000 apartments and subsidizes about 200,000 more. That's roughly 420,000 homes where rent stays reasonable. About 60% of Viennese live in this system, not just the poor, everyone. Some old council flats rent for around €440 a month, and this is in a major capital, and it doesn't stop there. The city builds thousands of new homes every single year, and then never sells them off. Then there's Seestadt Espern, a brand new district built on a former airfield for tens of thousands of people, wrapped around a man-made lake. The genius part? They built the metro line before anyone even moved in, so nobody ever needed a car just to get by. Officially, this city covers 41,487 hectares, and roughly half of it is green space. Yes, half. Imagine paying normal rent in a world capital. In Vienna, that's not just a dream, it's policy. Bilbao. It pulled off the greatest comeback in modern city history. Back in the 1980s, Bilbao was a collapsing industrial port, a polluted river, rusting shipyards, an unemployment rate of around 25%. Then in 1997, the city bet everything on one single building. Frank Gehry's Titanium Guggenheim Museum. People mix it up with the Guggenheim in New York, but it's not that one. With unemployment that high, spending a fortune on art had people calling it insane. But it worked. The museum pulled in more than 1 million visitors a year and paid back its construction cost within a few years. Planners literally named it the Bilbao effect. Since then, the museum has drawn more than 25 million visitors. But here's what most of us miss. The museum was just the spark. The entire rebuild was run transparently through a single public company set up for the job, and that included a sleek new airport. Bilbao also built Norman Foster's gleaming metro, cleaned up the river, added trams, and reclaimed the waterfront for people. A factory wasteland turned into a place you'd actually want to walk through. Cities all over the world have tried to copy it, but almost none have pulled it off like Bilbao. Stockholm. It did something Americans still scream about. If you want to drive into the city center, you have to pay. They called it a congestion charge. It started as a trial in 2006 and became permanent in 2007. The result? Rush hour traffic into the core dropped by about 20%. Less gridlock, and that means cleaner air. Then look at Hammarby Sjöstad, an eco-district converted from an old industrial zone. Named Europe's very first green capital, this city runs on a closed-loop system. And even better, it heats its own homes with energy pulled from treated wastewater and burned trash. So the loop literally feeds itself. In that one neighborhood alone, there are around 11,000 apartments. About 20,000 people live there, and only about 1 in 5 trips is made by car. Whenever someone says congestion pricing is impossible, point them to Stockholm. They've kept it running for 20 years. Bordeaux. In 2003, the city launched a tram system that draws its power from ground level. No ugly overhead wires running across the UNESCO-listed Old Town. A world first. That network grew into one of the longest tram systems in all of France. Then came the river. The old Garonne docks were a place packed with cars. Bordeaux ripped it all out and built a 7-kilometer riverside promenade for walking and cycling in its place. It even built the Miroir d'eau, the largest reflecting pool on the planet, where people splash around all summer long, and the network keeps growing. In December 2025, 2 new tram lines opened, one of them connecting the airport straight into the city. Meanwhile, its main shopping street is known as one of the longest car-free strips in Europe. Remember when your town promised a rail line and ended up handing you a wider road instead? While they can't keep their promises, Bordeaux just keeps building the rail. Zurich, the dream city for transit nerds. This city is rich, seriously rich. Normally that kind of wealth means everyone drives a luxury SUV, but Zurich flipped that around. Car ownership sits at around 370 per 1,000 people, shockingly low given the wealth here. Why? The trams. The system runs on 16 lines and carries around 200 million passengers a year, and it's almost never late. Zurich uses around 4,000 sensors and gives tram signal priority at about 400 junctions. The lights turn green for the tram, not for the cars. Across this entire transit network, more than 300 million trips happen a year, and about 40% of every journey in the city happens on public transit. Almost everyone lives within walking distance of a stop, and crossing from one end of the city to the other takes just 30 minutes. No traffic app, no circling around looking for parking. The train just shows up. Oslo. It saved the biggest controversy for last. It looked at its downtown and made a radical decision. That decision was to remove every on-street parking space inside the inner ring, exactly 760 of them. All of them. Gone. And what replaced them? Bike lanes, benches, and tiny parks. After that decision, business owners panicked. Then foot traffic went up about 10%. Turns out when people don't have to dodge through traffic, they shop more. Oslo also buried major roads underground and created quiet, protected zones around schools so students could walk safely. And in 2019, the city did something almost no major metropolis could ever pull off. A full year where not a single pedestrian or cyclist lost their life in traffic. 0. That's not luck. That's design. Slower streets, fewer cars, less noise and air pollution, safer people? No magic, no tricks. Just a city that decided people matter more than parking spots. Your city, on the other hand, probably treats parking like sacred ground. Oslo, though, saw it as wasted space. And got a far better city back in return. These cities simply made a different choice. So what different choices does your city need? Like the video and hit subscribe for more.